I actually do get inspiration from things that really happen to me. All my books really, I think, are inspired from things that really did happen to me. The Princess Diaries was inspired by my mom going out with one of my teachers after my dad died. And actually, my dad dying inspired the Mediator series, which is about a girl who sees the ghost of her dad. And so Insatiable really was inspired by this dog showing up on my porch, and he was so adorable, and I knew I had to find his real owner. And when I did, he was this guy who was very charming and good looking, but he was a bit of a vampire, in my opinion. And I really felt bad about giving this dog back to him, but I had to because legally he was the owner. And the dog kept running away from him and coming back to my house, and I kept giving him back. And you know, in the end, the dog did finally run off, totally. And I was really, really sad because I thought, you know what, the dog's dead. I'll never see him again. And I started writing this book about this girl who runs into the sky, and he's a vampire, but the girl has this dog. And the reason that I was inspired to write the book was because I finally did see the dog again, and he was being walked by this totally cute girl who had obviously found him and was taking really good care of him. So yeah, that was the inspiration for Insatiable. You know, book trailers are really fun to write and come up with the concept and film, but you know, I don't think that every author needs to do them. I don't think it's something you really need to be putting your time into. Really, you should be writing great books. I mean, that's really what your readers want. But you know, I really wanted to be an actress at one time when I was in high school. That was really what I wanted to do, so it is really fun to kind of be in my own book trailers, I have to admit. But you know what, if you're not into it, and don't do it. But you know what, if you can get Zach Galifianakis to star in your book trailer, go for it. That's my dream. What fascinates me about supernatural powers is that I don't have any, and I'm really upset about it. I've always dreamed that one day I would be able to predict the future, and I would be able to, you know, save people from themselves, and I can't. I've never been able to do it, so I fantasize about it. Also, winning the lottery. Actually, if I had supernatural powers and I could predict the winning lottery numbers, that would be a really good combination of both those fantasies, but no, it's never happened. So in my book Insatiable, Mina Harper, the main character, does have the power to tell people when they're going to die. And as I was writing the book, I realized this is actually terrible, terrible power, because you know, she's telling people and they don't believe her, and it doesn't do any good. And she can't predict the lottery numbers, and her brother's like, you're useless, basically. So actually, it actually wouldn't really be that great of a power to have. So, you know, be careful what you wish for. The internet has really made it so much easier to communicate with your readers, which I think is really, I mean, it's amazing to get that kind of feedback from people who read your books. Is something that writers didn't really have before. I mean, you could get letters, which was great, but to be able to just get an email is great, and to go on Facebook and Twitter. I mean, I love it. Personally, I do understand writers who don't really want to have that. I love blogging myself. It's something that, you know, I really embraced. I wasn't really into it at first, but now I love it. So I really respect authors who don't want to do it because they want to concentrate on writing their books, but I have a lot of energy. So, you know, I put a lot into that. But I really have a hard time now remembering what it was like back in the days when authors didn't have websites and you couldn't just go look up what their next release was going to be and when it was coming out. But there was a time when that didn't happen. And it seems so hard to remember back. And also, there weren't cell phones. Only people on Miami Vice, that show, had them. And they were really big. So it's funny to think back to those days. Oh, what I'm working on now actually is a new series that I'm writing called Abandon. And it's a YA series, so it's going to be out, the first book will be out next spring. And it is paranormal, actually, but with a twist. It's a little darker than my normal stuff for teens. And it's, you know, I don't want to say too much about it because it's you know, it's something I'm still working on. But it's kind of a modern retelling of the myth of Persephone. And if you remember, Persephone was the girl who got kidnapped by the Dark Lord of the Underworld. Release the Kraken, if that's familiar to you from the movie. That won't be said in the book, just to let you know. I'm also working on a sequel to a book you might be familiar with. It's called Insatiable. Just to let you know. So, that's it. Lucian versus Buffy. Oh my, you know, Lucian is, he's pretty powerful, and he's not like a pretty boy vampire. I mean, he's good looking, but he's got a lot of powers that ordinary vampires don't have. He is the Prince of Darkness. And if you've read the book, you will know that he has a power that a lot of vampires don't have. I don't want to give anything away. And Buffy, I really respect and love her. She's my favorite Slayer, I have to say. Well, there is a Slayer in Insatiable that I really like. So she might be outmatched. I wouldn't want to envision it. Let's put it that way.